Last week we covered a lot of ground. We left the Sail River, went to Hanover Bay, up to Big Island, out to East Montlivet, and then we headed down to Montague Sound, where we find ourselves now.
Well, the ever sharp-eyed Pascale has found a little something. What do you got there, Pas?
Got 4 people in a canoe-shaped boat with single oars rowing, or paddling, whatever.
Is that front guy?
Well, maybe these 2 are just paddling. I don't know, it's hard to see those, but...
That's more detailed than what we normally see, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you think that may be their Gion style?
Could be, yeah, could well be, yeah.
If that's a jellyfish, it's...
What is it? Well, if it's not a jellyfish, what is it?
Who knows?
Emu? Emu bum?
Emu seen from the back.
This is a really fine example of the Gion, or the Bradshaw artwork that we find all over the Kimberley. Well, especially in the coastal areas.
Look at that lower one. You can really see the elbow ornament and the big head.
Oh yeah, this looks like the headpiece here. Shoulders and very long arms with elbows.
Look at this intrepid explorer. We found here in the Kimberleys in the rock country, bare feet give the best grip. Just the downside is when you do come across a bit of spinifex. What's Pascale looking at here?
Some sort of art. Is that my foot?
A bit of rock art here. We've got one very tall figure surrounded by some smaller ones.
That really does look like an echidna.
This art cave is right next to a small spring, and there's a lot of other overhangs and caves to go and explore here. So this is an absolute treasure in this area. We went up one gorge and there was no water, there was nothing there, even the birds weren't singing up there, but here we've got beautiful spring water. As we've seen in a lot of other places, the trees here just really interweaving themselves with the rocks, breaking apart and making the Kimberleys all at the same time. Up behind us and where we've come along, it's been a bit burnt off, but we haven't regarded that as any sort of devastation or anything. If anything, it's made our life a lot easier, and the traditional owners in this region definitely would have burnt this area off for hunting and to make it easy to move through country. So, and it does. It's a lot easier when you've got big bare feet to move through places without spinifex and tangles of vegetation. Well, we can see evidence of art here it's not too obvious. There are some pieces up here that are still reasonably intact. But even more interesting is all the shells that are laying around here. There's been a pretty good party being had here out of the mangroves. Some cockles. And when you're finished eating your clam feast, you can just go down to the pool there and clean off. So I just felt a little something on my cheek and I brushed it away. And that's what it was. What a beauty.
Ooh, there is spiders here.
Yeah, I cleaned out some of the spiders with my hand, but it's a tight squeeze, isn't it? So at Pascale's insistence, we've climbed up some fairly sheer sections to check out this little overhang.
Because it's got a good view.
Because it's got a good view. It does have a good view over the billabong down there. And so, found a few more pieces. Well, the old folding boat's done it again. I like this boat, but the edges mean that it can catch on rocks and do this. So if you don't come back to your boat in time, you can often find mayhem. So we found it a nice little spot and we gave it a bit of rope, hoping that it would be down here. But it's blown back against that, and those sharp chines have caught on the rock, and look at that, it wants to tip upside down straight into the water, which is sort of bad.
So easy.
We found a wet cliff face here, water running down into some mangroves, and as yesterday's little run up to the stream, it wasn't a very good watering point, but this really is. So we're going to take that hose that's on Pascale's shoulder up to a little pool that I found up there. I shouldn't say I found, we were tipped off that there was some water somewhere in this area by other cruising yachties. So it's not just my brilliance at finding water. we were told, but we have found it, and now we're just going to use our boat hose as a siphon down the rock and save ourselves a lot of back-breaking effort to go and get some water.
The weight of the hose has just created a new stream.
Is it salty or fresh?
Salty.
Now, of course, the water in the pool wasn't salty. It's just that we pulled our deck wash hose off the boat, and we just had to get rid of the salt water.
It's fresh now. And she goes.
And here's our really complicated setup. Tied a rock to this rope and then a rolling hitch to the hose so the weight of the hose doesn't pull it out. And then just got the spout mid-water here, and it's siphoning down to our jerry cans like you saw. There's nothing high-tech about it.
So this is where the spring starts, where we're filling up our jerry cans from. Pandanus is always a little bit of a giveaway in the Kimberley that there's some water around.
I get to warm my bum on a heated rock while I have cool water dribbling over my head. It's pretty luxurious. I don't know if I ever want to go back to civilization. The view from the bathroom.
It's the best bathroom ever.
It's not bad. How do you like the sensation of the warm bum, cold head?
Love it.
It's pretty good.
It rocks.
Oh, swang!
What have you been up to there this morning, Troy?
Part of yachting life is fixing pumps. Now, when we bought the boat, this TMC pump was installed, which means that I'm more likely to be spending time fixing it than if it was a whale pump. But there we go, whale just got a plug. But yeah, just a diaphragm pump leaking. We discovered that the diaphragm was RS, wasn't it? Rat shit. So that will cause a leak every time. Look at our wind generator making all that power.
Slow down now.
One other thing about pumps is you don't know if you've been successful until you've assembled it and tested it in place. I'm going to try and bypass the testing it in place part by hooking up a hose to a bucket of water, and we're going to test it out here in the cockpit. We've got a problem with the O-ring seating. But worse than that is leaking from the diaphragm into here. It's leaking on the inside. So the best thing to do with the TMC pump is just throw that thing straight over the lifelines and say goodbye to the because they're alright. and just burn it because they're well, that's it. Everything's tightened up. Now for the moment of truth. Do our testing out here in the cockpit where it can get wet. There's water.
Friendly visitor. 2 friendly visitors.
Shark infested waters.
Sorry, continue.
So it pumps.
But is it leaking?
But does it leak?
Dry?
Dry.
Fabulous.
So a relatively simple fix. A hole in the diaphragm, and I replaced a few O-rings and just generally hosed the whole thing down with silicone to make all the O-rings able to slip and adapt. So we can reinstall that now, and the kitchen sink will be not drawing amps every time we need to fill it up. We can do it with our feet. Let's put it in. So when this was all installed, we've got the gusher pump there, but I also had this other pump sort of handy, and I made a little bracket. I just popped it up there. The wiring was already in place, so if this pump failed, I was easily able to just put this in line and we could still have a kitchen sink that was working while I got around to repairing this. And if it was irreparable, then of course we still had a salt water supply to our sink.
Using your favourite screwdriver once again.
Yes. My super favourite screwdriver is someone else's screwdriver with them using it on their boat. It works. Who could have guessed?
An easy repair but hard to put back together.
Yeah, the thing with pumps is you have to do each stage correctly. You can't just bodgy it up. You've got lots and lots of joins, lots and lots of seals, and you've just got to take your time and assemble them carefully and just tighten everything up gradually. A couple of clamps helps. But yeah, mucking around with pumps is always, like, it's just goes hand in hand with yachting. Although pumps are getting a lot better, and if you do buy a premium pump right to start with, this is not a premium pump. If you buy a premium pump to start with, then you're good. So as we have failures through the boat, then I'm replacing them with premium pumps. And in this case, I'm using whale pumps. But you will pay for them. Look at this place. It's just looks like it's carved out of the inside of a pavlova. The free-range sailing spelunking team.
Oh. Keep purring.
Pascale was just telling me about her claustrophobia now that we're deep in the caves.
Get me out. No, I'm living in the now. I'm not letting the fear override me. Oh, look at this, look, these roots. This is cool.
Why would you be claustrophobic in here? What's up? Out through that bit of light there looks like the right direction to go there. To the wide open spaces. Oh, this looks promising. Looks a little bit like we might be born again, actually. Here we are, Pascale's led us to the outside world. We've been saved by her claustrophobia. So this rock is balancing on that.
tricks.
He's going to hang on with those claws. Crazy crab. So we're going to say goodbye to that country just south of Wollaston Island. So now we're going up and around Wollaston. What did you think, Pascale?
It was beautiful. It was spectacular and very interesting caves, teetering rocks. The art was really impressive.
Yeah, that's what stood out for me as well. There's a lot of like big rocks just sort of teetering on small places, lots of caves to look at, plenty of art as you saw. Now we're just taking advantage of a bit of an easterly wind flow. We're going to go up around the top of Wollaston and into a bay called Swift Bay, which is the neighbouring bay. So we'll see how we go.